Hey, welcome all of you wonderful people to the show you've all been waiting for, the Crowmeda 100 Days of Hardcore ARK Ragnarok Survival Adventure Extravaganza! Some explanations to get out of the way first though. I'm honestly not very experienced in ARK. You will realize this as the show progresses, but thanks to all of your helpful comments on my last ARK videos, I have learned so much about the game from y'all, for which I am very grateful. So, I'd highly recommend, if you haven't already, to watch my 100 Days series on the island first, just to see if you notice if my overall gameplay has slightly improved from then to now. One more ever so tiny announcement before we begin. We actually already unlocked YouTube memberships, for which I made an assortment of badges you can claim based on how long you've been a member to this channel. Added to this, there are more perks for y'all to check out, but one of them is the use of these wonderful emojis in premieres and live streams, which my Discord moderators Goldfox and Drake made. More will be added the more members we get together. In the description are the links to their Instagram profiles, as well as all of my social links such as Instagram, TikTok, Discord, etc. if you want to hop on the follow train over there. Now, don't forget, my lovelies, that if at any point in the video, if you are so inclined to, you may hit that like button, slap the subscribe button, and just go to town on that dang bell icon so you don't miss another upload. Now, without further ado, let the show begin! Oh yeah, we're going with Kronk here, everybody. It has to be. Wait, Kronk? Yeah, Kronk, potato.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
We're gonna Kronk with Kronk. I already hear dinos. We're about to die. So, here we go. We made our character Kronk, and we spawned on a beach paradise with a lush forest nearby. We begin the adventure by doing the only logical thing, which is beating local dodos into submission. I soon realized that I needed to be a bit more cautious since I was starting to notice the dinos' levels were much higher this time around, since the difficulty was actually set to 5. To end the day, I set up a thatch hut and chased a pig into the sunset. You will be mine, Porky. Day 2 brought some advances, like a bow and starting to make narcotics. I knew I wanted a berry collector ASAP, so I set out to look for a para, which I tried to KO with the slingshot, which didn't turn out that well. Uh-oh. Okay, that's my cue to turn back. After that, I came across a low-level para, and well, I KO'd it with my beefy fists. During the taming process, I started to make some hide gear as well. Once the para was tamed, I called it Pinky, and we went home. There's not a thought between those eyeballs. Not a single one. To end day 2, I made a preserving bin and a forge, so things were going well. The next morning, I felt like exploring the coastline a little bit, which is when I came across the terrifying, horrifying piles of sand. I've never seen these before, so in my mind I was thinking these were like Perlovia dens or some worm would pop out of them, but it's all good, okay? I realized they were nothing to be feared. Soon after, we were pounced by a pack of pegos, which just simply have to be the most annoying thing I have ever seen in ARK. Get off of me, demon! I come across this Moshops, and I figured out its taming process along the way. Raw prime fish meat. Who do you think I am, Gordon Ramsay? During this process, I had a game crash, but successfully tamed this lizard dog, who I named Muffin. Once at home, something had killed Pinky. It was really weird to me because I didn't get a single notification when or by what it died. This made us need a new berry harvester, and ideally a pen to keep our Thames safe for the future. Luckily, I tamed this level 55 para which was nearby, which I named Sunset. The night was spent making some stone trap pieces for future tames. Aside from being annoyed by curious stegos on day 4, I got some metal. Oh no. Oh no. Once back from that metal harvesting trip, I just couldn't take this anymore. I needed some peace and quiet around my shack, so the Bronto just had to go.
What the heck? What the? What? Whoa. Hey, buddy. Finally.
After that was taken care of, in the evening, the smelting process started, along with making a smithy. On day 5, we had our metal tools, and I wanted to get some crystals since, well, you know, y'all know how long it took me to get that done on the island. So Sunset and I set out on an expedition to scale the nearby mountains, cautiously passing by ruins and dangerous beasts.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Okay. Whew. Psych. Oh crap, we're stuck.
Yeah, so, you know, we kind of got ourselves in between a rock and a hard place from where we could not build out of. So the only option we had was to do a leap of faith.
Here goes nothing.
Luckily, the saber perished, so we could go home safely, where it was stego cleanup time, for crying out loud. After that cleanup process, we kept exploring, looking this time for a pteranodon. Honestly, I really love the ruins and such around the map. It's really pretty.
What? What? No way. What the heck? What the heck? No 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 no. Attack the stego. Attack the stego. What the heck? Where did you come from?
Yeah, nope. I just ran as fast as Sunset's legs could take me, okay? Luckily losing the Rex on the way. However, it was now closer than I'd like it to be to the base, so I made a raft at night just in case I needed to make a break for it. The next morning, we got our hands on a crossbow and set sail for the nearby obelisk where I found these boxes. Not sure who left them around there, but we got some really nice loot out of these, as well as more iron from the area. Pressing on with our little adventure, I found this lovely place known as the Viking Bay, from where I saw a majestic castle in the distance. However, as beautiful as this place was, the sun was setting, so I rushed home once more. The next morning, on day 7, unloading the metal was quite a long process, and a scary one, as I knew that the big bad Rex was too close for comfort.
Whoa, take it easy, buddy.
I started crafting some stone trap pieces just in case I would try to tame the Rex, and in between that project, I went to find a good pteranodon, so I KO'd this gray one, and then right after that I found a higher level one, so I KO'd that one too.
Seriously. Right there, you're comfy. Yeah? You having a good time? Mm-hmm. That's nice. No, that's okay. That's okay. No, I didn't want to go inside my house anyway.
On day 8, Charizard was tamed, and not long after, so was Angel Dust. A pteranodon saddle was made, and we took to the sky as free as can be. Now in the air, it would be easier to find crystals, and along the way we encountered more Rexes, making me really kind of worried about our base location. Crystal was obtained, which I brought back to the hut, and we made ourselves a spyglass. With this tool in hand, it was time to set out on a long reconnaissance mission to get myself more familiarized with the map. And honestly, Ragnarok is a gorgeous map. I think we can all agree on that. The exploration continued through to the next day, and it was nice. Spotted some griffins, almost got pounced by tigers, attempted to tame a very high level Rex, and ran out of tranks, you know, the usual.
What the heck are those things?
So I went home and apparently almost died based on my notes.
Go, 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 go.
This time I got a bit closer to that castle we saw earlier until I saw the amount of overpowered bats that were in there.
Level 420? What?
And yeah, I decided that exploring that might not be a good idea. Once back at home, I made narcotics through the night since, well, kind of wasted them all on the wrecks.
What the heck? Oh no, 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 no. Oh no, he's here. Oh no.
What am I gonna do?
Here goes sunset. Stop breaking my stuff. Wait, what? Really? Okay, so, Muffin survived! Yes! I mean, I'm sad for sunset, but Muffin survived! Okay. Woo, hey buddy, how you doing? I'm so sorry. Oh, screw you.
Yeah, so my fear came true, and well, hats off to the spikes, everybody. Them be some useful shiz. Either way, after I made a chitin set, and you know, we needed a new berry gatherer again, so after all that, I went to get my first ever stego. While it was taming, I found 3 aloes that spawned next to my base, so my luck was just non-existent at this point. However, since I had made some stone trap pieces, I decided I'd try to trap them in a very ridiculous way. I know, okay, don't take this method in any way, shape, or form as something viable, okay? This is not a viable strat. On day 11, Lumpy was part of the team. And I love this one, okay? It's adorable. It's a chunky little fella. Now, it felt like it was time to do something insanely stupid, so I set the trap into motion.
Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad.
Realizing I had just committed a very smooth brain move, I rushed to bring the dinos to safety to a nearby rock in the water. Just in time too, since thanks to my not so sound judgment, the aloes were on my base in no time. So, with nowhere to go back to, all we could do was set out to find a new home, leaving Muffin behind since there wasn't enough room. I crafted some stone building pieces so I'd have some shelter once we got to a safe place. It was on day 12 where I decided we'd set up in the Viking Bay since it seemed very chill, had many resources close by, and its terrain is flat at the beaches, which, you know, makes building much easier. However, something caught my attention. A sleeping megalosaurus, which, by the way, is the first one I have ever seen in-game. So you already know that I'm gonna tame this dude. So to adapt to this scenario, I reconfigured the stone box we were making into a trap, got some narcotics from our first hut, and on the way back attempted to lure this dude into the trap. However, he wasn't really down with that idea, so had to KO him outside.
Nice.
The next morning, the tame was still going slowly since all I had was raw meat, obviously. Once tamed though, I named this dude Shikamaru, and I was a happy dude, my dudes. With the remaining time of the day, I remodeled the box, which became a trap, back into a house. So, you know, a lot of remodeling done, I know. Day 14 was mainly spent building and getting stuff from the first shack. Luckily, it seemed like the aloes weren't too close by, so I did that without much of an issue. In my mind, I was thinking that I wanted to get a fabricator as soon as possible so I could get polymer to make cryopods, seeing as I fell in love with those tools back on the island. After loading everything up from the shack, we also got Muffin, so together we went home back to the bay happily. This transport took a lot of time out of day 15 since everything needed to be unloaded, of course, but I decided I'd make my first ever farm in ARK and, well, it might not be perfect, but it's honest work. I knew I'd needed a Phiomia to make fertilizer, so while looking for one, I came across some loot drops and got some really good ghillie items based on my notes.
Ascended ghillie gauntlets.
Next day, still piggy hunting, and I saw a Doedicarus for later. And I came across this Phiomia on the plateau, which I managed to tame. It was just resting in a bed of flowers. It was your pure baby, which I named Carl. It was a mess trying to bring Carl home though without an RG or cryopods.
Oh,
He might have fallen to his death by landing next to a Carno. So yeah, needless to say, I need cryopods. Let's make that fabricator, shall we? Once I made the fabricator, I decided that I wanted a toad, a big chunky toad. maybe I could collect, chitin with it easier. I knew that I couldn't really directly make cementing paste with it just off of any bug. Okay, don't worry. So in preparation for future tames such as the toad and many more, I made this stone drop-in pen for when we already got an RG. The pen was done in the morning of day 17, leaving me time to make a flak set. However, peak armor at this point was looking kind of messy. But yeah, I started getting oil and crystal for the cryopods and applied my first ever skin to a dino.
Whoa. Lumpy isn't so lumpy anymore.
A cooking pot was also made for kibble this day, which, by the way, I have never made kibble before, so this would be a first time for me. Weirdly enough, Terras kept landing in the pen more than I'd like them to.
You made a bad move, buddy.
In the evening, I made a saddle for Shikamaru and had way too much fun testing him out.
Pop him into the trap, that'd be fun. No. Oh, that's fun.
As fun as things were, I knew one day I needed to dive into the ocean for one of the artifacts, so I started prepping gear to tame a megalodon. On day 18, I made a long neck rifle and started to make many narcotics for when I would be making darts. While things were processing at the new base, which I slowly came to describe mentally as a coastal fishing village, I set out on the SS Anne to find a megalodon in the bay. And this trip was fun. I found this underwater ship, which was pretty neat. And there, amongst the fishes, I saw this very, very high level megalodon, which I began to hunt. But it was really hard to KO it. Once it was finally asleep, and I might have, shot way too many arrows into him even past he was sleeping. I didn't realize that he was already KO'd. I began feeding it and protecting it since the Rex was getting awfully close. The nearby Diplo served as some good prime meat though to speed up the tame. The next day, Danny joined the team, but for some reason, everything in the area didn't like this and decided to aggro onto Danny for absolutely no reason whatsoever, which was incredibly stressful.
Bro, don't just sit there and get beaten on.
To keep him safe, I closed off this little area so nothing could come in and bother him. By this time, we unlocked the RG saddle, so at night I prepped supplies to go tame one. This would be a really big leap forward in our advances. On day 20, it was time to get a feathered friend, and after checking a few spots, I saw this gorgeous level 150 RG, which was KO'd and it landed on this awkward ledge, but it was okay. It kept us safe from aggressive creatures. This gave us some time and an opportunity to leave it alone and go get some prime meat from a nearby Diplo. Then that just made this taming process go super fast. So just like that, on this day, Hawks was part of the herd. We led Hawks home and made a saddle for him and tested him out. Now, we had all the pieces we needed to start getting a ton of tames, okay? And the first one on the menu was a Phiomia. So, super easy now. Before you knew it, we got one, and Carl Jr. was tamed up and producing fertilizer like there's no tomorrow. Next up was an Anki, so we set out for one. However, a storm was pulling up, and I was unsure as if this could hurt me or not, so I quickly sought shelter amongst the mountains. I felt like a tornado or something could just appear at any second. I slowly dared to leave this little shelter as I noticed I wasn't getting damaged, and I found this neat cave and this bugged supply drop. After which I just went home. Enough exploring for today. Still on the search for an Anki, and this time now also a Doedicarus, when we found these cool monkey statues, truly a artistic masterpiece. On this trip, it was again apparent how beautiful this map is. Later, I finally found a level 145 Anki, which was brought back, caged, and KO'd. While it was taming, I was glad to see that the farm was actually working. Next day, trying to keep up with the momentum, we snatched up a high-level Doedicarus while the Anki was still taming, dropped him in the pen, and after that, we tamed this dude, and I named him Amigo.
What is it with pteranodons? Hey, hi! Hi! You know what?
Now with Pteranodon the Anki on our side, we'd be grinding metal, yes sir. I almost forgot to KO the Doedicarus because I was so excited to get metal. But no worries. I did begin the taming process that evening. Day 24, and so far the Doedicurus was taming well, so I left it for just a moment to prep some things because I wanted to tame a toad, a beaver, and much more. Yet that was a mistake since a Dilo started nibbling on my sleeping Doedicurus, which really ticked me off since that would really screw with the levels. After that, I still set out looking for a frog in the swamps.
Oh, wise one of the mountain, tell me your wisdom.
Once there, I immediately wanted to leave. This place seemed horrible. But I snatched up this level 145 frog, which gave me a lot of difficulties transporting him.
Not land.
A quarter of the challenge through, and the toad is still in tow. But once placed in the pen, we named our Doedicurus, which was already tamed up, Snowball. To keep up with my gunpowder demands, I made a fire conga line to make charcoal faster. Later, KO'd Le Toad and tamed him up.
Say hi to Schlappy, everyone.
It, was about time though that I made another really bad decision, but trust me, my intentions were in the right place. I thought if I could make an army of scorpions, I could have infinite chitin, and I could use that just to make cementing paste all day around. So I caged this scorpion and started taming him as well. On the morning of day 26, the Godfather was ready Freddy, so we went to find him a mate, snatched up this one right here, and there you go, named her Scorpia. And now it is time to make scorpion babies. This process though was weird in itself. For some reason, they didn't want to breed, even though I read in an article that they can breed, so I panicked thinking that I read a outdated guide, and later, I read in a different forum that said that they can't breed, so I just kind of gave up. I was very confused until I saw them breeding all of a sudden. So that had me confused, but I wasn't going to question it. Its eggs were freaky in itself. Now it was time to make a scorpion pit, I thought. The next day, the scorpion pit / future nursery pen was pretty much done. Now it was time to get some pearls, now that Danny was healed up from all of his earlier fights. So I got him a saddle and we swam out to get them pearls for the entire day. This was my first time on a megalodon, so I was having fun. During this, I found these weird water bugs that seemed to be all over the sunken ship, which were kind of creepy. On day 28, apparently, I got a really good drop based on what I wrote. Not sure what it was, but you'll probably be seeing that on the screen right now. After that, I set my eyes on obsidian, so we carried Pteranodon with hawks, got that, as well as I found this super neat cave with metal and crystal, which I'd frequently clear out through the entire 100 days. I got many pearls earlier since I wanted to make AC units, for the nursery pen, which I realize now was actually not that necessary, due to my egg growth settings and all of that shebang. But those AC units were being problematic in itself, so I gave up. Obviously, seeing a good drop close by, I had to go get it. And, well, the loot was crazy.
No way. You have to be kidding me.
I wrote down in my notes that I felt bad at this point about how much good loot I was getting. I was unsure why this was happening since I had the same loot quality setting as I used on the island. The next day off screen, I dealt with the scorpion pit for a good minute, but I really wanted to make a greenhouse as I've never made one before and they look pretty neat. But I really needed cementing paste to do that, so I flew out and stole a ton of cementing paste from the beaver dams. It was a ludicrous amount, okay? This kind of made me second guess my scorpion pit's usefulness. But hey, I brought a beaver with me, cause why not? On day 3, we had a ton of fun, okay? Got this super amazing saddle for Shikamaru, started taming the beaver, and set out to get resources with Schlippy. And this was just, pure joy. I was having so much legitimate fun playing ARK with this toad. I never thought that these toads, could really be this much fun swimming around with them and jumping around. And we started killing these water bugs that I found earlier and got so much chitin and pearls and black pearls and meat. And I ended up doing this all day long just for the fun of it. Even though I almost, forgot to check on the beaver which was taming and it almost woke up. Next day, we got Jimbo the beaver though, and I just kept harvesting pearls with Slippy till I had more than what I knew what to do with.
Excuse me, I was drinking my coconut water.
At this point, we were doing good on electronics and polymers, so I set my sights to get a theory for bossing. However, as stated before, I never made kibble before, and I really wanted to use kibble for the theories, so I prepped gear to go tame dinos that produced large eggs. Slight change of plans on 32. I wanted a griffin first since it'll help me across the board being fast and that I could just shoot right off of its back. So Hawks and I scouted out for a good level 1. This took all day, but no luck on the levels, so we offed the ones that were really low level in hopes that good ones would spawn. This killing and searching process dragged into the next day, which, after which we just went home to give them some time to respawn. Once home, I made my first ever compound bow, which was very satisfying to use. My inner RuneScape 99 Ranger had way too much fun with this thing. On day 34, we set out again, but with Charizard this time to find us a griffin. And in this kinda, sorta mesa area, we spotted this gorgeous level 88 griffin. But since I came here with Charizard just to scout faster, we needed to go back home and prepare a trap and some tranks. Now, with a proper trap with us, carried by Hawks, we set out to place the trap for the winged beast. I made sure to have Charizard in a cryopod just in case we would need him, due to him being faster, so it would be easier to use Charizard to lure in the griffin to the trap than using Hawks. Luckily, I already had seen a trap like this before once from my friend, so building was really easy, went without a hitch, and the lure was just so smooth, okay? Smooth as butter. Got 99 problems, but forcefully taming a mythical beast against its will ain't one. I named it Twilight since in Guild Wars 2, I recently got my Griffin mount, and in that game, I have the legendary two-handed noob stomper known as Twilight, so the name just kinda made sense. And let me tell you, just flying this beast for the first time is just pure bliss.
So great.
The next day, I needed to protect the village a bit more, so this day was spent making a stone perimeter. On day 38, the perimeter seemed good enough to keep most wild dinos out. My forgetful ass forgot that I got Twilight to go tame dinos that give me large eggs, so I set out to tame 2 Brontos now, which was a total breeze. Before you know it, Oompa and Loompa were home in our little village, getting us them big boy eggs. The day after, to help out with egg demands, we caught this Oviraptor and brought it back into the pen. On the way, I remembered that I totally left Angel Dust to starve for the past 30 plus days or something at the beach. The fact that it survived all the way till now is a miracle, so you tagged along. We KO'd this dude, and my idea was to tame him up with scorpion eggs since, well, the scorpion eggs were getting a little bit out of hand, okay? My fridge was literally overflowing with them. Sadly, a lot of time was wasted in this tame. Since it failed, I didn't realize that scorpion eggs really just, upped its taming bar so little bit, so I would have to retry it when I have more eggs. On the big 4-0, I started using Brontos for berries, and
Damn, son.
That's pretty good.
That's a nice amount of berries. Yep.
I knew sooner or later I wanted to learn to make veggie cakes, which I also had never done before, so I read up that I was going to need some sap, so I geared up and set out to the Red Forest. Somewhere along the way, I got very good loot since I wrote good loot in my notes with 4 O's, so it's serious.
Oh boy.
We encountered wyverns and gigas along the way, and once we made it to a big tree, I realized I needed a platform for this to work, or so it seemed. So I went back home to make one.
These are some angry beavers.
Day 41, platform placed, and that's about it. On the way back on day 42, I was killing low-level Rexes for stronger ones to be able to spawn, as well as to get the prime meat from their dead carcasses, just to make some prime jerky. For some reason, I can't remember why. So, once back I made those, as well as more forges to make metal smelting faster. Honestly, I was getting overwhelmed with all these scorpions, man. but I didn't have the heart to get rid of them. I raised these hell spawns, okay? They're my babies. I find it funny how I wrote in my notes that I went to go get cementing paste for a chemistry bench. Spoiler alert, I never made a chemistry bench. I always seem so ambitious in my notes. It's almost like I forget that I suck at this game while I'm playing. Remember how I wanted to make a farm? Well, now on day 44, it was time to make a real greenhouse. And it was satisfying to build it. I loved it. I never made anything with glass pieces before. And that's pretty much all I did that day besides managing the growing scorpion army. 45 was all about getting resources like metal, crystal, making narcotics, etc. I even wrote down again, want chemistry bench. Bro, it's not happening. Get over it. The day after, I wanted to find a low-level Oviraptor since it would require less eggs to tame and would serve the same purpose in the end. So the search took quite a while and you know, even though I couldn't find one at first, I can't complain since the sightseeing in this map is just worth it on its own. The next early morning, a level 20 Oviraptor was taken for a flight back to base, but he highly disagreed on that plan.
Wait, what?
So I went home empty-handed and highly pissed off. But I ended up taming the one we already had, wasting more Bronto eggs than I wanted to, but since I tamed him on a Wednesday, I named him. After setting him up sort of like in the middle amongst all of my dinos, I started looking into making chili for the correct kibble that I needed for theories. On day 48, I was starting to make kibble for the very first time, and I felt like an accomplished young man, okay? I was feeling great. I was king of the world at this point. Having made as much kibble as I could, I needed to wait for more eggs to, you know, spawn, I guess. So I wanted to make a ton of polymer since somewhere down the line I gotta send the shotgun blueprint. I don't know where. Maybe it's somewhere in the editing. I have no idea. But dang, them dudes be expensive. Besides that, I wanted to improve our egg production even more. So I tamed 2 female Brontos, Humpty and Dumpty, joined the team that day. Day 50, everybody, halfway marker, yes sir. It was time to start prepping an army to face off against the boss, so I set out to get 2 high-level theories. Close to where we already had placed our griffin trap, this super strong theory was spotted, which I chased down with Twilight, or better said, it was kind of chasing us down. And I gotta be honest, I probably missed at least like 50% of my shots since it's a fast-moving target and I'm not used to shooting from the griffin, but it all ended up well. In the early hours of day 51, Slayer was tamed, surprisingly quickly thanks to the kibble. With him potted, we journeyed back home and found a high-level female theory on the way back. I really didn't want to lose her, so I quickly restocked on darts at home and began the pursuit. Hunting her down was kind of difficult though. Amongst the trees, I kept losing her many times, and apparently during this process I almost felt my death.
Whoa. Holy moly.
We got the KO though, but in a very weird spot, but hey, you know, it's safe from most predators, so we gave her kibble as well, and bada bing bada boom, she was ready to go. And I named her Auntie Helen. Now with 2 parents, breeding began and I got a mutation on the first try, but because I've never bred dinos for stats, I was unsure which one got boosted. I'm pretty sure it was the health stat, but again, I'm not very sure. While Deku, the baby theory, was growing up, I organized the base as well as made more kibble for Rexes. I figured, you know, if I could get a couple of Rexes into the, you know, battle party, it would be a nice boost in DPS. On day 53, I was just pumping out polymer as fast as I could, as I had been getting cementing paste whenever I left the village. We got more babies, and I'll be honest, I got very confused in the process for checking stat mutations, since I remember at this time I was panicking, thinking I wouldn't make it on time to beat the bosses on day 100. So yeah, I still gotta learn how to do this better, I know. 54 was pretty much just resource gathering all day to get that dang ascended boomstick, my mans. On day 5-5, I made the last bit of kibble that I needed along with many tranks to go get some rexes, so we set out later that day with Twilight to see what we could find and just have a jolly old good time. Searching far and wide for a suitable tame, we came across many things, one of them being wyverns.
Oh no.
We saw what looked like an abandoned temple, which led us straight to a very strong rex which was prowling the area, so we began barraging it with trank darts, and we managed to get the KO, but this area seemed awfully hostile though, since there were terror birds and carnos close by alongside these tiny feathered crackheads. It was on day 57 where we tamed Babushka! This powerhouse of a rex would surely serve us well in the fight, so we went in the direction where our home is, seeking out more male rexes, but to no avail. Feeling the call of the deep ocean abyss to get its prized artifact, I realized that I needed to boost my survival odds for that coming adventure. So on my to-do list was to get a female megalodon and an ichthyi. Danny and I swam out, and a bit further away from the base we came across exactly what we were looking for. We KO'd this megalodon, and during its taming process, we abducted this ichthyi, which was just entranced by this bassie. The morning after, we successfully tamed Sam the megalodon, so with her and Speedy the ichthyi with us, we swam home to begin the breeding, and as well just checking on the growth of the Theri army. On day 60, a Daedon was chosen to be a part of the bossing team, since we would at least need one healer, I thought. So we caged this porky, and I was just preparing some things before KOing it, and then it broke loose, and somehow all hell unfolded in my base as my tames aggroed onto it and caused an entire mess.
No.
After that, I just decided I'd get a truckload of meat to actually manage to tame a Daedon as soon as I placed it in the pen. Also, as a safety measure, I placed doors in the pen to avoid future incidents like this. So the next day, I went to check on the sharks, and apparently we got triplets. I don't know the odds of that happening, but y'all in the comments will know that better than me. We did end up getting another hog, and he was not happy about that. Nope, no sir. So mad, in fact, that Hawks almost died during transport. We did successfully tame it up later, and due to him being a rabid, angry boy and being white and brown, the most suitable name for him was Mr. Bubs. After that, I began the process of making Theri saddles whenever I could, as well as making gear for a Yudi hunt. On day 62, I got the most adorable baby megalodon. I was just so excited when I saw this sweet baby bean.
Hey, boss!
Later, I made even more polymer and had to reorganize the dinos since a dang bird decided it wanted to take on my entire herd of tames. For the remainder of the day, I got a ton of meat since the growing army was going through it like my friends go through a Pizza's Place 2-for-1 deal. This process took up most of the day of 63, but I got a saddle for Speedy at least and organized my sharks a little bit more. I knew that one day I'd need to face off against the dreaded Iceworm Queen, which was just, the thought of doing that just had me scared out of my mind, so I began the journey of making a vulture army. We got a good male tamed up who I named Tony. We couldn't find a good female in the area, so we returned back home and just kept making Theri saddles. 6.5 was used to get more paste for polymer. I always frequented the beaver dams, and they must have been really frustrated with me at this point. We were getting awfully close though to getting the sought after shoddy. On day 66, I set out once more to find a strong male rex for breeding, and I used that trip to go get some sap and decided I would get some honey when I would return from this trip to be able to make some veggie cakes, since I had seen some ovis in the highlands on a prior day, and obviously I really wanted to get a Yudi for the boss fight. But to get a Yudi, the kibble is really difficult because, the egg types it needs, yada yada yada. So we did that, but sadly no good rex was spotted. On day 67, I got honey for my very first time, and the damage had me worried there for a sec, but it allowed me to make my first ever veggie cakes, which made me really happy. It's something so simple, but it was very satisfying. Apparently this was also the grand day I made the holy boomstick, which would serve me so well later in the adventure. Now, with veggie cakes, we returned to tame those sheep, and in no time flat, I tamed Sweet and Roll, potted them up, and grabbed another one for the road. At the village, I set them to breed, and so now, essentially, mutton was an infinite supply. For the remainder of the day, I tended to the breeding of megalodons and theres. On day 69, I started prepping many grapples for cave exploring, as well as making my first ever sniper. This dude would be feeling pretty good about himself at this point. Also, to prepare for artifact hunting, I made med brews for my very first time.
Super.
On the big Civito, I wanted to breed vultures, so I set out to find a pair for Tony. We came all the way to the desert area where we found a ascended flak chest blueprint, which was just sick, my dudes. Exploring this area was so interesting. We saw these ruins of ancient temples which were just gorgeous, close to which we also found a good female vulture. However, the taming process got a tad bit messy. Once tamed, I named her Bloodwing, and together we went to her new home.
Compramos carros y camionetas viejas para desarmar.
What the heck was that?
Luckily, I looked up the artifact locations already, so I could use this trip to snatch up our first ever artifact on this map. That wasn't the only cool thing we found though, since I came across the unicorn that day, and I wanted it. After gathering some available veggies in the area, I began to try to tame it, but it wasn't going well. But after reading up a little bit on how to actually do it correctly, it went really well. Luckily, we didn't run into the gigas that were on the other side of this cliff. I named it Hercules since in Pokemon Moon, I had a Mudsdale that I named the same way. Once at the village, baby vultures were growing up, and I made the Ascended Flak chest piece. The day after, we also made Ascended Chitin leg armor, since we had a blueprint for that, and our armor stats was looking pretty good at this point. Since I needed to wait for more vultures to be ready, I decided to get a saber tooth since I also had an Ascended saddle for it, and it would be a really good idea to take one into caves. Soon after KOing it in the cage, Grimmjow was officially our cave exploring buddy. On day 74, it was time to get us a Yudi for its buff in the boss fight. And I was just dreading this hunt, my dudes, cause those of you who know how that went on the island, you know why. We did spot this level 140 Yudi and, well, needless to say, the problems already began since it decided to yeet itself down one of the highest mountains on the map to an area filled with water. Wakanda forever! Which was giving me just traumatizing flashbacks.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
I did my best to set up a trap on this sort of stone surface, but it decided that its massive legs could not just, put him onto that surface. So, I just really hate Yudis, man. We began to raise its torpor and actually got a favorable KO despite all odds. So now with it being safely tranked, I returned home to get some mutton for a faster tame. In the morning of 75, Water Chicken was tamed, and I brought him home. As much as I hated this dude, we needed him. Somewhere along the way, I got an Ascended Crossbow, and I just couldn't believe all of these drops. Although, I do have to admit, I'm only writing down the ones that were good. I did loot way more drops than the one I'm presenting to y'all. I was reminded again that I needed to make my deep sea adventure. So, in preparation for that, I started making scuba gear, as well as a riot shield, plus a saddle for Water Chicken. The next day, we were blessed with twin vultures, which was nice to see. The more the merrier, we need everybody that we could get. But yeah, mainly got cementing paste this day for the many megalodon saddles that I needed for the deep dive. On day 77, aside from making polymer and getting a ton of hide, I started gathering more resources since somewhere I got an Ascended Metal Shield BP, and since they're so expensive, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to make that in time for the Ice Queen, but heck, I was gonna try anyways. 4 more scuba tanks were made just in case, and I gave all the sharks their levels that they had accumulated over time. I figured it would be easier to make 20 cryopods already since 1, I'd need them to bring my army to the boss arena, and 2, it would make bringing my megalodons closer to the artifact easier. Once that whole process was done, I potted all of them up, and I think it was around like 15 sharks or something, give or take maybe 2. And I made a GPS just to find the location. It was on day 79 where we'd set forth to face the dangers of the depths. I prepped all the sharks as well as Speedy, since I'd be on him to get away from danger quicker. We had a slight hiccup though. Setting out, my nerves were as tense as can be. I could only remember the horrifying things that I had seen on the island. And what I had read about this place was that alpha squids can spawn here, or there can literally be a bugged amount of squids, like a literal incomprehensible amount of squids in this area, ready to tear anyone apart. So, with that fear, we began our dive.
Okay. I guess we're doing it at night. I was trying my best to not have it, you know, happen at night, but it is the way it is. So, here we go. Oh, I don't want to lead. I don't want to be the first one looking down. My own sharks scare me. Could you be a little bit further away? I sent you to furthest away. You're blocking my vision. Stop blocking my vision. Stop it. Stop. Stop. Okay, now I can finally see something, but I see no squids. What? What? Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. I said nothing. Okay, we gotta be careful because I see them squiggly dudes. I don't know if those are aggressive. Hey, yo! Anybody home? Go get him! Okay, there we go.
Wow, okay, that just, I gotta say, that went much better than expected, okay? I guess it's true that there is safety in numbers. On day 80, we went back victorious with our loot in hand, proud that the plan went off without a hitch, actually. In this journey, I spotted Mosas for the first time playing this game, and I wasn't gonna test my luck where it wasn't needed, so I just left them be. At home, we had so much weird gel and stuff from all the things we had annihilated, and I wasn't really sure what they were for, but hey, I was proud because I had a lot of it. On 81, not much happened aside from getting the next artifact, which was a very welcome change of pace, you know, just really set my nerves at ease. Keeping up with our lucky streak, we went to get the 2 artifacts that are in the cave near the plateau, which was kind of fun. Pretty dark, but you know, it was pretty easy. It was a in and out job, no problems there. I also got some honey on the way for veggie cake since I didn't have my own hive and I really didn't intend on getting one because I was just way too lazy for that. The next day, it was time to go to the desert labyrinth, which I was very fearful of doing, but I watched Maniac's guide as well as at least 7 others extensively. I rehearsed these so many times, but he recommended in his guide to get an Archaeopteryx to make things easier. So I KO'd one on the way, realized that it eats chitin for some reason. So I got some, and there you have it. Named it Archon. At the end of the day, I set up in front of the entrance. So, time to put the big boy pants on and face this pit of evil. No turning back. As scared as I was having a really good time in a way. I don't know if it was the adrenaline or something, but I think it's also due to the fact that this place is really nicely designed and it's a very cool way to switch things up from the traditional way of just go to place, get artifact, done. You know what I'm saying? However, don't get me wrong, this was in no way, shape, or form a smooth sailing operation, okay? We did get torched, which made us look like a baked beans. What the fuck? Luckily, we managed to survive that thanks to the amount of ascended gear that we had, and luckily I had a little bit of extra armor with me. I took breaks in between though to recover health, just because I really wanted to be at full health at every single skirmish. Honestly, I didn't think the dark room would be this dark, and once I was there, it was that dark, and it got me extremely worried, but I didn't stop running for a single second, okay? I just ran as fast as I could and dealt with the bats later. I did the thing where you go onto this stone ruin, and from there I took out all the spirit beasts without much of a problem, and with that, the first run of the labyrinth was completed, but only barely. There was no way I was gonna do the second run, you know, right off the bat. I just, no. Okay, I would need to go back to prepare for the Skylord artifact. So I just flew home, bruised, beaten, and crying. Not much to say about day 85, except I repaired all of the armor that we just broke, and made many more brews and got more ammo ready since I had used up way more than expected in the first run. Once at the labyrinth, I began the second path, which honestly this time compared to the other one was kind of easy, I guess. The fire room went off without causing spontaneous human combustion.
Ooh, okay, I like that. Thank you.
And the rest was okay. I got a lot of good loot, but I didn't carry it all with me since I prioritized being able to run at full speed due to weight limitations. The jumping part was kind of fun in a way, and done with relative ease, and I thank Guild Wars 2's years of training me in jumping puzzles for that. But yeah, grabbed up the Skylord artifact on the way and didn't bother with the spirit animal, so I just waltzed on out and went home. Now, with some of the most difficult artifacts out of the way, it was time to get the one in the jungle/lava cave. I was kind of weirded out that in the beginning no dinos were spawning. Maybe some of y'all know the answer to why that was happening, but I just kept on going. And first, far towards the end, we actually saw some wild dinos which were taken care of and the artifact was ours. I had no intention of fighting the lava golem. Okay, you know, people were telling me how scary it is, and that would just be putting myself in unnecessary danger. On the way out, we actually had to fight, you know, a ton of dinos, so I figured, you know, I guess they just took a while to spawn, so we did have to fight quite a bit on our way out. On day 8-8, we made soups to protect ourselves from the cold we'd be facing in the Ice Queen's lair, as well as prep the vultures along with the best gear I had for the cold. However, I was warned that it is way colder down there than normal, so I set out to get an otter since, you know, it keeps you warm on your neck. I went to this cave where I once had made a base with my friend since I remembered there tended to be 2 otters at all times, and surely enough, there was an otter, and I named it Pearl. Pelt was needed to make some high quality fur armor, so pretty much for the entire day we just, you know, kept hunting.
There we go, what the chicken.
And on day 90, ascended fur gauntlets were crafted and a ton of ammo. It was on day 91 where we'd brave the icy tomb of the Ice Queen. So we potted Grimjow in case there was an emergency, and flew out with Twilight. We had our army of vultures following us as we made our descent. It was a bit of a hassle at first to get them into the small spaces, but we managed, and luckily we were handling the cold pretty well. And I was pretty optimistic, okay, remembering that the deep sea adventure had gone just as planned, which just proved the tactic of strength in numbers. As well as I had super good gear to complete this, okay? The plan started falling apart almost immediately. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. No. This tragic scenario had me just freaking out. Okay, this was not how it was supposed to go. Everything should have been fine, and we were all gonna go home together. I took out Grimjow since it was my only option at this point. We continued down the pathways, and I got an ascended compound bow, which had me excited, but I couldn't really grasp at the moment how good that was since I was just dreading what lied below this waterfall. But there was no turning back.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god, I'm shaking. I can't believe it. If I could film my hand right now, it is just so like I can't I don't have words.
We actually managed to beat this boss. I couldn't describe how I was feeling even if you asked me to. Okay, my emotions had gone on such a roller coaster on this trip. I was exhausted. And we, you know, it was good that we kind of killed her when we did, since the shield was at like 25% after that. So, you know, taking any longer and that would have been the end of us. Cheesing her to push me back until she couldn't reach me anymore and then unloading as many shells as possible was the key to my survival.
The final artifact. I can't believe we made it. Oh, easy there, hotshot.
Once the artifact was claimed in this super neatly designed room, we jumped out of the waterfall in pure darkness.
Woo. No, I don't want to change the gamma while he was next to us, but damn, we could have died right as we got out.
Now that pretty much all the difficult preparations for the boss were completed, I focused the next day on making veggie cakes, so we needed sap and honey, and I guess this is a good time to mention it that I have never faced the dragon or the manticore on their own, and the fact that both of them spawn in the boss arena just had me shaking in my trousers. Finally, now that we have a little bit of downtime, this is a good moment to actually build a house that I was proud of. So, here we go! And there you have it, folks. On day 96, my pride and joy. I was really pleased with how it turned out. It was a design that just kind of happened without planning ahead, which is something I don't normally do. So I think it turned out better than worse. It goes without saying that in those days, I made sure that I kept making cakes and ammos and brews in preparation for the fight. 3 days away from the big fight, we got a ton of meat to be sure that Mr. Bubs could heal through the entire battle. And I used dyes for the first time ever, and I had way too much fun with it, okay? I just went all in and immersed myself with coloring most of my things, as well as some saddles. On 98, we got more of them sweet cakes, as well as transporting the artifacts and food to the obelisk. I wanted to get this out of the way already, so I would have more time to get into the mindset of fighting the bosses when that time came, instead of just rushing everything there last minute. And not much after that was done, I began bringing the herd over there, as well as making some final theory saddles to try and get everyone well protected. It was a good thing that I hopped in a call with Swarks this day, as he explained to me that the Manticore can knock players out, so that I need a gas mask. However, remember how I said that I never made a chemistry bench? Yeah. I don't have the resources for it so late in the game, so we kind of agreed that the next best thing was to bring some stimulants. Day 100, the big day we've all been waiting for. The accumulation of our efforts are laid bare today, as we made our final inspections for the boss fight. Even got a haircut to feel fresh and ready for it too. And well, since this was all about to be over, be it happy or a bad ending, I flew out just for the sake of taking it all in, remembering all the things we did, we saw, and was just really happy that I played on this map. But what I didn't realize is that veggie cakes weigh so incredibly much, so in the end I did have to rush preparations, so yeah, had to make 2 trips to bring each theory. It's 2 cakes each. And once everyone got their cake in their inventory and all dinos had the correct settings, it was the early morning of day 101.
My tickle turkey troopers. And the other ones. We are about to face our greatest fight yet. We've never faced any of them, let alone both at the same time. But I have faith that we might be slightly overpowered. At least that is what I have been told. So we should be fine, and we should be heading home in one piece. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do this. Here goes nothing. This might be the end. Okay. Everybody's here? Good. I want to focus the dragon. But we might as well go for him. Okay, just settle down. Okay, watch out for the fireball. That's his fire breath, which does super damage. Okay, everybody pile him. Get him! Watch out for the fireball. Come with me, Mr. Bebs! Woo! Everybody just calm down. Everybody. Pile the dragon. Pile the dragon, everybody. Oh, I thought I set the piggy to not listen to group commands. Oh, they're both there. Okay, easy does it now. It looks like we got it in the bag. If we get the dragon, we should be good. Come on, one burn, one burn, one burn. Let's go, baby! Round 2, come on! Go get him! I don't need you right now! Oh my goodness. I don't think we have lost a single one yet. Okay, fine. Attack the golem. Our piggy isn't with us anyways. Mr. Bubs has abandoned ship. Okay, he's landed. Focus Manticore. Let's go! Whoa, what? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch out for the rocks. Go get him! Woo! Oh no. Okay, we didn't get in that burn. Okay. Let's focus golems. Okay. Yeah, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Oh, my babies! How are we doing? Huh? How we doing? Oh, you're looking a little bit rough on the edges there, bud. How we doing, huh? I'll slap you. I had to do something. That went so much better than I expected. We did it. It has been done. The tickle turkeys have done it. Obviously Babushka as well. Oh wait, what is the golem doing over there? Oh, I guess he just wasn't feeling it. Okay. No, that's okay, bud. We're leaving.
And there you have it, people. That was my Ragnarok adventure, and I cherished every moment of it. I really hope you enjoyed the show. It took me around 130 hours to make this video for you, and yeah, really hoping that you did. And I truly hope to see you in our next big adventure. Until then, my lovelies, take care now. Bye-bye.